Welcome back, movie fans. Tonight we follow a mysterious person walking a lonely road where every step hides a secret. A dark highway, a stranger with no past, and a destination that could change everything. Let's jump into the story. The film starts with a little girl, Irene, playing hide and seek with her dad in the jungle. After her dad teaches her how to pick a mushroom, Irene grabs a mushroom and puts it in her basket. Then she stops because she needs to use the bathroom. Her dad heads to the main road. When Irene looks for her dad, she reaches the main road and sees a car parked there. The driver stares at her with creepy eyes and drives away fast. Scared, Irene notices a mushroom on the ground. Looking ahead, she sees her dad's dead body lying far away. This moment shakes the innocent girl. The story then jumps forward 10 years. Now we see teenage Irene training for a swimming competition. Her coach encourages her to hold her breath for the last 30 meters. The race starts and Irene tries her hardest. Despite her effort, another girl wins. Irene takes second place. The winning girl tries to cheer her up, saying it was only a few seconds difference. This makes Irene mad and she stabs the girl, causing her to bleed. Later in the locker room, the coach tells Irene to apologize to the girl. Otherwise, she'll be kicked out of the competition. Irene refuses and attacks the coach. Worried about her behavior, the coach calls her useless and leaves. A few days later, her mom suggests taking a break from training to avoid the girl. She also tells Irene to see a doctor, but the stubborn girl says no. Days later, Irene rests in her room when her younger sister Pam asks why she's not going to school or competing. Irene snaps at her and pushes her out. Her stepdad comes in and asks why she's mean to her sister. Irene angrily says they're only stepsisters. Her mom steps in and says if Irene won't study, she should get a job. This makes Irene even angrier. She accuses her mom of starting a new life and forgetting her real dad. Her mom slaps her hard, hurting Irene's feelings. In the next scene, Irene arrives at her aunt's house, where her aunt hugs her warmly and offers her a place to stay. Irene thanks her and promises it's only until she finds a job. Her aunt agrees and invites her to join her yoga class. That afternoon, Irene goes to the yoga class since she has nothing else to do. During the class, a middle-aged woman named Milana gets upset about neck pain and leaves early. Later, Irene talks to her, and Milana says she feels too old for her job. Curious, Irene asks what she does. Milana says she's a supervisor at a factory. Irene asks if she can help her get a job there. Milana agrees. Soon, Milana brings Irene to the factory. She shows her machines and explains how they work. She assures Irene not to worry. She'll start in an easy department. Then the factory owner, Michael, arrives. Milana introduces Irene as a new worker. Michael asks about her and learns she's 18 and left school. When he hears her full name, Irene Trevelyan, he's shocked. He leaves without a word. Later, Michael grows restless, remembering an event from years ago. He was young, drinking with friends. One day, he bet a bottle of rum and dared a friend to jump from a tall building. A crowd gathered to watch. Michael jumped, landed safely, and won the bet. Then he saw a girl, Laura. He had a brief fling with her, but barely remembered her name. Michael charmed Laura to come with him. They went to his car and things got close. Laura asked if he'd remember her next time or invite her to his house. Michael said he wasn't interested in commitment. Angry, Laura started walking home. Feeling bad, Michael asked her to get back in the car. Laura agreed but said she'd drive since he was drunk. In the present, Laura, now Michael's wife, asks why he's so uneasy. Michael says a German client invited him to dinner to close a big deal. He suggests Laura join since she's a great lawyer. Laura happily agrees. That night, Michael can't sleep, his mind full of thoughts. The next day, he suddenly tells Milana he's firing Irene because he doesn't need new workers. Milana is surprised and asks if Irene messed up or if he knows her. Michael quickly says no. Milana insists Irene finish her trial period, promising to fire her. If she makes a mistake, Michael has no choice but agrees. Meanwhile, Irene's co-worker Loris seems to like her. He asks for her social media, but Irene says she doesn't have any. Loris invites her to meet at a pub called Piazza Dante. Another co-worker, Agata, sees this and gets jealous. That evening, Michael and Laura go to dinner with the German client. Michael acts rude and distant. He even misbehaves a bit. Laura gets upset and tries to save the deal. The client flirts with Laura. Michael either doesn't notice or ignores it. Back home, Laura asks why he was rude to such an important client. Michael doesn't care. He calls the client a fool living off family money. The next day, Michael reads a newspaper about Irene's swimming competition and her aggressive behavior. Irene goes to a local pool to swim. Swimming helps clear her negative thoughts. Other girls arrive for training. The coach tells Irene she can't swim there and must use another lane. Irene listens without arguing, but the coach is amazed by her swimming skills. As Irene leaves, she sees Michael sitting with his driver in a car. She waves nervously, but Michael doesn't react and tells the driver to leave immediately. Later, Irene and Loris kiss in a club, growing closer. In the following days, Irene works at the factory where she and Loris exchange playful glances. She also swims sometimes. One day, Irene finds her bike tire punctured at work. She knows jealous Agatha did it, but says nothing and gets to work. Later, Loris texts her to meet up. Irene pretends to be sick and asks her supervisor for leave. On the way, she runs into Michael. He asks what's wrong. Irene says she's sick and needs leave. Michael sees Loris's truck and knows she's lying. He almost says no, but when Irene gets mad, he lets her go. Outside, Irene sees Laura and wonders who she is. Laura asks Michael, who says Irene's a new worker who wanted to leave early. Meanwhile, Irene and Loris rest in the truck after getting close. Irene mentions talking to Michael and how he saw Loris's truck from the window. Loris worries he'll be fired and tells Irene to keep their relationship secret. The next day at work, a pregnant woman yells at Irene saying her husband is sleeping with Loris, shocked. Irene says Loris has been with many women in the factory, including Agatha. Agatha gets mad and follows Irene inside. She yells and insults Irene. The argument turns into a fight. Luckily, Michael steps in and pulls Irene away. He shouts that if he hadn't come, Irene could have hurt Agatha badly. Irene stays quiet and doesn't respond. She's sure she's lost her job. She starts packing her things, but Milana surprises her, saying Michael didn't fire her. Instead, he moved Agatha to another department. Irene is shocked and confused. That evening, while biking home, Irene notices Michael following her in his car. He loses sight of her. Suddenly, Irene gets in his car and angrily asks why he's following her. She suspects he has bad intentions. She says if he doesn't fire her, she'll take off her clothes in return. Michael quickly says he has no such plans. He just wants her to be safe. Confused, Irene says she's hungry and suggests they eat somewhere. They go to a diner where Irene asks why he has a driver and doesn't drive himself. Michael just says he doesn't like driving. He asks why Irene quit swimming. She stays quiet. Michael admits he works at his dad's factory because he didn't know what else to do. He says Irene's lucky to have a passion. Angry Irene says he knows nothing about her life. The next day, Michael tells Irene he wants to show her something. He takes her to an old house by the sea and says he dreams of opening a restaurant there. He admits he lied before he has a passion too. They watch the sea's waves and see a couple in the distance. Irene starts sketching the man. Michael asks if she can draw. Irene says she's trying to remember the face of the man who killed her dad 10 years ago. She thinks he might have moved on, gotten married, and had kids. Michael says his life might be a mess instead. Days later, Irene visits Michael's car after work and asks why he's not following her anymore or spending time with her. Michael says he's busy and drives away. Irene feels rejected and angry. The next day, while swimming, her coach praises her speed, saying no, girl matches her. Irene notices Michael waiting for her. She asks what he's doing there. Michael says he brought a small gift to apologize for being rude. At first, Irene refuses to forgive him, but he wins her over. They spend time together, play pickleball, and have fun. During the game, they accidentally break a car's rearview mirror and run away, laughing like kids. Irene sees Michael smile genuinely for the first time. The next morning, Irene joins the swimming team after accepting her coach's offer. She tells Michael who's proud of her. Later, Michael's wife, Laura, visits and is surprised to see him so happy. When Michael leaves the office, Laura, full of suspicion, searches his files. She finds Irene's profile and her face changes, as if a deep truth hits her. That evening, Laura tells Michael she's pregnant. Michael shows no joy but hugs her. Laura admits it was a lie to test if he still cares about her. She yells, asking why he's close to Irene, the daughter of that man. Michael calmly says Irene's life is messy and he wants to help. Laura doesn't listen, knowing Michael loves Irene. She gives him an ultimatum: stay away from Irene forever for their life to improve. Days later, Irene competes in a swimming competition and wins. Her teammates and coaches cheer, but she looks for Michael in the crowd. She sees his driver, who points to Michael waiting outside. When Irene meets him, their eyes lock and they realize they love each other. That evening, Michael, Irene, and the driver celebrate her win at the bar's door. The driver says he's too drunk to drive. Michael and Irene are left alone. Irene insists on going home, so Michael drives. On the way, Irene tries to get closer. Michael scolds her at first, but soon gives in to his feelings. Suddenly, he stops himself and gets out of the car. He keeps apologizing, but Irene doesn't understand why. Angrily, Michael returns to the car and drives fast. The story flashes back years ago when young Michael asked Laura to get in his car. Laura wanted to drive, but drunk, Michael drove fast instead. Laura begged him to slow down, but he didn't listen. Back in the present, Michael speeds up again. Irene, scared, tells him to slow down, but he doesn't. The scene connects to 10 years ago, when young Michael drove carelessly near the jungle. Everything changed. The truth comes out: he accidentally hit and killed Irene's dad. When Irene called for her, Dad's scared. Michael jumped in the car and sped away, seeing little Irene in guilt. Today, Michael takes Irene to the same painful spot where her dad died. Irene asks how he knows this place. Michael doesn't answer. Irene figures it out. With a broken heart, Michael says he's thought of her every day since that day. Furious, Irene pushes him to the ground. She grabs a stone to smash his head, seeking revenge for her dad. Michael doesn't fight back. He feels he deserves it. But Irene takes her anger out on the car, breaking its window, and leaves. In the morning, Irene goes to the hospital where her mom works as a nurse. Exhausted, Irene falls into her mom's arms and apologizes for years of mistakes. Her mom shares shocking news. Michael turned himself into the police that morning. Irene feels confused, unsure if she should feel peace or sadness. The scene cuts to 5 years later. Irene is doing well, working as a swimming coach. She goes out with her stepsister, Pam, and their close bond is clear. While walking, Irene sees a newly opened restaurant. Her eyes widen because its name is the one she jokingly suggested to Michael. The scene shifts. Michael is busy decorating his restaurant. He hears footsteps and turns to see Irene standing there. After years, seeing her brings tears to his eyes. He looks happy. Irene gives a small smile as if she's forgiven him. Maybe there's hope for a new start in their relationship. That's the whole story, friends. Hope you enjoyed the video.